Hello! It's happened too quickly. So, are we all ready to get going on losing 5 pounds of this jiggly wobbly stuff? Yes, this is how big 5 pounds of fat is. It's an armful. It's an armful. This is just 5 pounds. So, I'm just going to give people a few moments to appear, and what I will be doing is I will try, well, I hope if questions come up, I'll see if I can answer them by the end. If not, I'll either answer them on the next live, or if you email them in, I can, at the end, I'll sort of answer them. We're going to do a webinar on Saturday as well, which will be on Zoom. You just need the link so people don't have to be on Facebook for this. So here we go. We have some people, and basically the idea is to not necessarily go straight into this on day one, but to learn over the next few days, start applying stuff so you can have long-term success. And then you can start applying everything together if you want to give yourself 5 days of concentrated effort. So I'm really excited to be doing this again, and I will also be releasing all the original recordings for the people who are new to the 5 pound challenge. I will be releasing also all the links to the original challenge so you can pick up a few more bits and pieces, because this is going to be slightly different. Well, I'm going to try and cover all the same material, but I may do it in a slightly different way. And there's some additions to come in as well, including why this might be the key. So you don't have to go and get one of these, but you're going to find out why in a moment. So we have Wendy, hello Wendy. We have Julie, hello Julie. I know some other people are watching as well. So first of all, this is, well, actually this is the most important tool, as you're going to learn in a moment, but this is your next most important tool. This is the 5 pound detox challenge checklist. So make sure that you print one of these off, whether you're going to be doing it this week or whether you're going to start doing some of this week, and then you're going to do the whole thing once you've learned everything over the next 5 days. And what are you going to take and apply? So first of all, have you got this checklist? I'm going to tell you why it's so important as well. And what else in my notes here? Quick reminder. Oh yeah, weigh yourself as well. For those of you looking to lose weight, which I know most people are actually looking to lose weight rather than toxins, is weigh yourself today. And then don't get obsessed with weighing yourself every single day unless you want to. But weigh yourself today, weigh yourself after 5 days. Okay, so weigh yourself now and to see what, just applying some of these techniques, because yes, we're going to cover food on day 3. Yes, if you've got the welcome email, you know there's a couple of supplements that I recommend. I'm going to go through more on Wednesday. But there's reasons why it's day 3, not day 1 or day 2. And why also day 3 and 4 are not about food either. But also I should tell you about why detox, which I'll go through a bit more on Wednesday as well. But I'll cover that in a little bit. So you've got to print out the checklist, weigh yourself today, and I want to remind you to basically keep on upgrading yourself and pushing yourself a little bit at a time, so you become a new version of you up here, because this is where it counts. This is where the strength is. So 5 pounds, why the strange headset, why detox? So first of all, why detox? Okay, why is detox an important part of weight loss? In fact, I would say the most important part of weight loss, and I'd say that when you're detoxing properly, long-term weight loss comes as a secondary side effect. But if you just focus on losing weight, then you can actually not detox at all. You can actually become more toxic in the areas you don't want to. Why is this? Well, it's because a lot of the toxins that we get from the environment, and we bioaccumulate them as we age, and all of this is actually backed up by, if you really want to go into the science, then yeah, join one of my paid for programs and we'll go through the actual science for it as well. But all of this is from science. Doctors who are telling you don't need to do extra detox are just so unaware of the actual science of why we do need to be detoxing. Men every week, every month, there's a new study coming out on how different toxins are getting into not just us as adults, but our children. Every time you buy something new, like this was new, okay, fire retardant stuff, toxins that can actually make you obese. Yes, there are toxins that you can breathe in that basically make you more likely to put on weight for various reasons. There are diabetogens, there are things that we're breathing in that make us more prone to diabetes. In fact, liver issues that aren't detected are more of a problem for diabetics than actually how much weight they have. So toxins are a big problem. They're destroying our brains, they're destroying our kids' brains, they're destroying our bodies as a whole. And a lot of these toxins are fat soluble, which means if you don't have what you need to get rid of them straight away, they actually bioaccumulate in your fat stores. And it's one of the reasons why people put on weight, is because your body's got a toxin, it doesn't know what to do with it because it's fat soluble, it will store it in a fat cell. And then when you lose weight, that fat cell dissolves, those toxins are released, and 80% of the fat soluble toxins that are released into your bowel when you're losing weight get reabsorbed back into your bloodstream. And because you're losing weight, you're not going to store it in a fat cell, it's going to go into your muscle or your nerves or your brain or your eyes or your bones. And it can start causing problems straight away, but there's a huge link between people losing a lot of weight in midlife, so 40s, 50s, 60s, okay, that's not midlife, okay, and then 10 to 15 years later having more health problems than people who stayed the same weight and never tried to lose it. So I'm not telling you not to lose weight, I'm telling you have to actually detox, because most people don't realize that when they're losing weight without taking into consideration detoxification, they're actually putting themselves more at risk later on. So this is why toxins are so important. This is why day 3 is going to be so important once you start getting into it. But what I want you to have is I want you to have not just long-term health, I want you to have long-term success with this as well. So we don't actually start with nutrients and things to detoxify, even though I've already sent you links to start doing something. It's up here. So why is it up here? Why is up here so much more important than anything else? Well, a number of years ago, a magazine, it was Vanity Fair or something, I can't asked some of the top weight loss programs, what did I say, 5 years? Probably 10 or 15 years, sorry, a long time ago, about, you know, we'd like to interview not just people who've lost weight in the last year that you put on TV, we would like to interview people that have lost weight with you and still have kept it off 5 years later. So they went to Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all the other programs that you've heard of that have been around for years and years and years and years and years. And all these programs have been around for years and years and years and were already really famous. They were struggling to even find one person, okay, that had lost the weight and kept it off for 5 years. I mean, yeah, they did, they made 1 or 2, you know, it wasn't a huge amount. But they started also going to other programs as well. And one of the programs was something that was at the name called the Mindfit program, which is basically a hypnotherapy based program. And what they use is they use a headset, okay, to play slightly different beats in each ear, which are called binaural beats, and to use lights as well, even lights on the ears, because strangely enough, ears are photoreceptive as well. And basically you wear a headset, you have this hypnotherapy track going, and you have these lights and you have these binaural beats going, and it basically, it helps completely unstress and unwind what's happening in your body. And then they also have their programs for helping you get over pain, helping you change your lifestyle, helping you improve your nutrition, weight loss. They've got lots of programs, okay? And when you combine it with the actual proper headset, you get better results than just using ordinary earphones. But when these people went to them, they said, yeah, you know, could you let us know if you know anyone that's worked with you and has kept the weight off for more than 5 years? And they went, yeah, certainly. How many would you like? There's 30 people I can think of right now. And the person, what? I mean, we've been to some of these big companies and they're struggling to find 1 or 2, and you're saying you've got like 20, 30 easily. And say, yeah, we've got loads and loads and loads. And it's because they centered on stress. They centered up here. They knew that, You know, people know that they've got to decrease calories. People know that they've got to increase exercise. People know that they've got to eat more vegetables. People know they've got to avoid all the cakes. But so much of the eating that goes on is emotional. And we know what choices we should be making, but we just don't make them. And one of those is because of stress. And stress is now more of an issue than it was 15 years ago. And so one of the keys to actually long-term success with weight loss is not what you eat, but it's mood. Mood is more important than food when it comes to sustained weight loss and sustained health. And what you're thinking up here is incredibly toxic as well. It's toxic to your entire system. For instance, we know that health is only a very small part genetic. Studies on twins, identical twins, so identical genetics, has shown that health is at most 20% genetic. And it's more to do with our environment and what we eat and the bacteria in our gut, which is why we know that basically we can take like an overweight mouse and an underweight mouse, and we can take the bacteria from the underweight mice, stick it in the overweight mice, and the overweight mice start losing weight. And it's the same in humans as well. We basically take fecal matter, yes, then we can take all the matter from someone who's really super healthy and we can stick it inside someone who's not, and they start having changes because the bacteria in our gut talk to our entire body. They talk to our brain as well. There's a strain. There's the whole area, you've probably heard of prebiotics and probiotics, i.e. good bacteria, but there's now what's called psychobiotics, bacteria that we have identified that actually help our gut, help to talk to our brain and change our mood and behaviour. So yes, and if you are interested in those, I can tell you about where to get some. However, it goes the other way as well. How you think alters your gut bacteria. How you think alters your gut bacteria, and then once you've altered your gut bacteria, it can alter your thinking. It's a two-way street. How you think actually has an effect on how many calories you actually absorb. Okay, true experiment. Basically, they took two identical shakes. Okay, exactly the same, just two shakes in the same glasses. They're exactly the same shakes, but what they did is they did different advertising on each one, and they basically said, this one is the super deluxe, really, really yummy, super scrumptious, all full of great stuff. This is the light version, and this has got healthier ingredients. Basically, they're exactly the same. Okay, now the group who had the super duper duper deluxe, super duper duper one that was advertised as super duper deluxe, they felt fuller for longer, and their blood sugar went higher. The group that had exactly the same shake, but it was advertised differently, okay, basically they just bought it in and they followed it up. Basically, they didn't feel as satisfied, but their blood sugar was much lower. So exactly the same food, but it was the thought process that actually changed what was going on with all those calories. So if you're looking at somebody and thinking, well, why are they so thin and healthy and fit and they're eating the same food? A lot of it's all happening up in here. And it's not genetic, and it's not, oh, they're lucky. You can change what's happening. And so this is why a checklist is so important, because a checklist helps keep you on track, and it helps fire off something called dopamine. There's a book called the Checklist Manifesto. The Checklist Manifesto basically shows that when you tick a box, your brain releases dopamine. And dopamine is one of those feel-good things that makes you want to do it again. This is why games are so popular. This is why mobile phones and pressing like is so incredibly popular, because every time you press the like button on Facebook, you are actually creating dopamine in your brain. You're having a dopamine release. This is why phones are so addictive, and Facebook and social media, because every time we turn it on, check it, we're getting a release of dopamine. You can get the same thing with a checklist, and this is much healthier. This is why games are so. Basically, they've tried to realize, well, why can we take someone with ADHD who's got no attention span, and we can sit them in front of a computer game and they can play it for 3 days solid and completely master it and learn so much in the game. And it's because of gamification and addiction and all these sorts of things. So when you tick a box, it creates dopamine and it helps reinforce behaviour. That's why there's a checklist. And so today we're going to be covering loving awareness, okay? When in doubt, love is the answer. Then tomorrow, autonomic pairing, then narrowed feeding window, then rest and recovery, then joyful movement. And so you can have a look through the checklist so you can get an idea about everything we're going to talk about, so you can get an overview. Everything's going to be videoed, as you know here. It's going to be downloaded, it's stuff on YouTube as well. I'm going to send out an email with a reminder of everything that we spoke about as well, and then you can ask questions as well. So, okay, so today, loving awareness. Is that what I want to start? So I've told you about the brain tap story, I've told you about why the checklist, I've told you to weigh yourself, loving yourself. So let's start with a quote. Those of you who are here before know this quote. It's from one of my mentors, Dr. Bob Rakowski, and he always quotes this, and it's a guy called Og Mandino. Never heard of him until this quote, but here's the quote. Today I begin a new life. I will greet each day with love in my heart. And most of all, I will love myself. For when I do, I will zealously inspect all things which enter my body, my mind, my soul, and my heart. I will zealously inspect everything. Okay, if you truly love yourself, you are going to look at a donut in a different way than you look at an apple when you start to eat it. You're going to, your emotional eating, when you truly love yourself, your emotional eating is going to go a little bit differently from donut to apple. It's a big difference. They may contain, calories, but one's nutritious and hydrating and detoxing, and the other one, not so much. When you love yourself, you will zealously inspect everything. You'll zealously inspect all your thoughts. You'll zealously inspect all the information that's coming into you from advertising, from news, from media. You'll probably switch the news off a little bit and realise that it's all just propaganda and hype to sell you something along the way. Anyway, so why are these three things important? Forgiveness, service, self-love, gratitude, and compassion. Well, they build your positivity, they help you de-stress, they have many, many health benefits. I could do a lecture on each of these because of all the science that's out there. But there's another doctor I want to quote. He's a cardiologist. He's known as the York cardiologist. So if you just go onto YouTube and put in York cardiology, I think his name's Dr. Gupta. But he says, why is it important to measure your blood pressure numbers? In fact, he says, don't measure your blood pressure numbers obsessively on a daily basis. Because I know a lot of people watching this have high blood pressure, or they've got high blood sugar, or they've got high this. Is don't obsessively track your numbers. The numbers you want to be obsessively tracking every day is how many times a day have you practiced compassion or gratitude? How many people have you forgiven today? Because these are the things that give you internal happiness, that lower the stress, that lead to high blood pressure and eating problems and all these other things in the first place. So some of the top cardiologists in the world are saying, like, don't track the numbers religiously, track what a wonderful human being you're being every day. Track that. And so this is going to help you track how much of a wonderful, warm human being you are being to yourself and to others. And when you're a wonderful, warm human being to yourself more and to others more, you're going to help everyone in the world become better, more wonderful, warm human beings. So, self-love. Let's start with forgive others and yourself. Basically, when it comes to forgiveness, it's been shown that when you really start forgetting, and you mean forgiveness. Remember, forgiveness is divine. There's even thousands of years ago, it was noticed how important forgiveness was. It's in the Bible. It's in all the religious texts, and it's been seen. It's actually been shown, looking at people's brain waves, how powerful does forgiveness affect all your brain waves, and it basically gives you the same brainwave pattern as someone who's been meditating daily for about 40 years. That's actually same as this, actually. When you wear this and you have the hypnotic tracks going and you have all the lights going, basically 20 minutes later your brain is showing all the same effects as someone who's been meditating regularly for 40 years, apart from, I've been meditating regularly for 30 years, and my brainwave patterns and everything look basically like most people. They have to do this for 20 minutes. Mine's like that all the time, but you can have that when you start practicing these right things. So forgiveness. Okay, so one of the best ways to actually forgive someone in a meaningful way is to phone them up, write them a letter. It can be even to yourself as well. Okay, and maybe you don't want to phone them, maybe you just want to do something. You can actually write out a letter forgiving them, or you can write out a letter forgiving yourself. You can read it back to yourself with, you know, feel that forgiveness. And then if you want to, you can rip it up, throw it away, or just never post it, or just keep it. Okay, and just that very act of feeling that emotion of forgiveness lightens the brain, and it's incredibly powerful. So who is there that you need to forgive? What of your past do you need to forgive? In one of my courses on changing mindset, I go a lot more deeply into how to do forgiveness. Service as well. When, again, probably a lot of people here don't actually need to know this, or don't need to practice it, because a lot of people here, you know, the mothers, fathers, sisters, parents, you know, they've looked after someone, they've given some care personally as well. And when you serve with love, it's like when I'm working with patients, I try and intend not just, okay, I'm doing this adjustment because I want to get them out of pain. I'm trying to, you know, actively imagine this person getting healthier. I'm actively, when I'm talking to people, I'm actively, when I'm speaking to you beforehand, I've actually got some breathing patterns and rhythms going, and I've put myself into a state like I want the 120 people in this group to lose each 5 pounds at least. I want basically this group to lose half a ton of fat in a week. And if it's done week after week after week after week, then people are going to lose tons and tons and tons of fat. And that's a good thing. So express service. So whatever you're doing, okay, put some expression of love into it. Whether it's washing the dishes, it can make such a big difference. I hate washing the dishes. But when I actually put my mind to it and I say, okay, I'm cleaning this for whatever reasons, to the act of devotion to the family, when I'm ironing, whatever, just little things can make a big difference. Self-talk. Now this is where I'm going to give you another recording. Self-talk. So many people, there's this negative, you know, monkey or duck or something just always going, blah, 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 you can't do this, you can't do that, oh, you're not doing this, you're not going to succeed here. Whereas the successful people tend to have a more positive self-talk going on. And the best way to actually help you improve your self-talk is to watch something called, I Am Enough. And it's a talk by Marissa Peer. It's about 40 minutes long. I'm going to put a link to it as well here, but it's also going to be in the email that I send out as well. It's called I Am Enough. It's a 40-minute talk. And again, in the previous version, I went into a bit more into depth into all of these in the video, so you're going to get those at the end, but you just need the gist. Okay, but I Am Enough, that's the one to watch. Gratitude, count your blessings. A gratitude journal. People who basically, at the beginning of every day, get up, and the first thing they think about is not, you know, okay, the first thing they think about is what they're grateful for. Okay, the simplest thing, simplest story was basically a guy he's now known for his positive psychology. He was actually in the one of the people we interviewed for the film The Secret. I knew him before that, but he basically was trying to find something he was really thankful for or grateful about, and he realised that he was actually quite grateful that he had a pencil to write and a piece of paper to write on. And you realised that just what a wonderful thing it was just to write. And writing something you're grateful for every day. So you could be grateful for your dentist. You could be grateful for having great hair that day. You could be grateful for your wonderful skin complexion. Or you could be grateful for your granddaughter or your grandfather. Or you could be grateful for something that happened on the other side of the world. You could be grateful for the smell of rain. Whatever it is, just starting your day with something simple that you're grateful for actually has an effect on your entire physiology. Practicing gratitude and forgiveness actually makes us physically stronger. It decreases the amount of pain we feel. It decreases dementia. It's very, very powerful. And yes, if you're in a state of gratitude and self-love and forgiveness, you're much less likely to be stressed. You're much less likely to choose the donut over the apple. You're more likely to choose the apple over the donut because you're zealously expecting you're in a grateful, non-stressed, easygoing, loving environment. And then compassion. Okay, compassion is something that, again, it's not quite as, I don't think it's as powerful as gratitude and forgiveness. But when somebody has a different point of view from you, it's very easy to get upset. I get upset with people with different understandings and views about health, but at the end of the day, people are only doing, well, people are doing the best they can with what they've got. They're doing the best they can with the knowledge they have. They're doing the best they can with the tools they have as well. It's like digging a trench with your hands is very different from digging a trench with a spade. Walking a mile, okay, running a mile, I could probably beat most people here in this group, even if they are 20 years younger than me. I could probably beat most people here over a mile, okay? But if you had a bike, no matter how fast I was running and how fit I was, you'd probably beat me over a mile. If you had a bike, and if you're in a car, you'd thrash me every time. So, compassion is basically realizing when somebody is sort of upsetting you, okay, maybe they have different knowledge, maybe they don't know what you know. And maybe they don't have the same tools, so have some compassion. Like with health and well-being, so many people are having cereal for breakfast thinking it's healthy, and most cereal is just the wrong thing to be having if you're trying to lose weight or get healthy or get rid of diabetes or get rid of dementia. Most people at the moment, in my opinion, not just my opinion, in the scientific opinion, the true science, are doing the wrong thing at the moment to help themselves with all the health stuff that's going on in the world today. So, but the science will eventually come through and we'll all be in a better place. So move away from judgment, show kindness to others, show compassion to yourself, because a lot of the stuff you'll be learning you may not have had any idea about. So don't beat yourself up about things that you didn't know about because you didn't know about it. Be compassionate with yourself as well. So, recap. Mood is more important than food. Okay, we know that the key to successful weight loss is actually all about stress and the brain, because this is what changes your gut bacteria and your physiology and your cells, and it can even change how many calories you have from the food you're eating. I'm going to talk more about food and detoxification and some other ways to do this on Wednesday. So to brain tap story, the headset, weigh yourself, the checklist, important for dopamine, for keeping you on track. So print this out, start using it, even though you only got today so far. And so how many times a day are you going to forgive? Okay. Are you expressing some kind of service? Like cleaning a toilet. You can clean a toilet with love. It's a good one to practice. Self-talk. What's your self-talk? What's the I am enough video? Whether it's today or tomorrow. Gratitude. Are you practicing gratitude? Write 3 things, 1 thing down every morning. Okay, and compassion. Are you practicing compassion in some way or other, listening with your heart? And so basically day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course you can print this out twice, because you could do this week and then you could do it again next week. And like, have you forgiven yourself anything today? Tick a box. Service to love, yes. Self-love, self-care, yes. Gratitude, compassion, tick, 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 tick. Basically, are you getting 5 ticks a day, 1 tick a day, 2 ticks a day? It doesn't matter. And then tomorrow, or even today if you want to, practice on loving awareness. Or maybe tomorrow will be the first day and you'll just take the video and then apply everything. And then, so tomorrow, autonomic pairing, then narrow feeding window, then rest recovery, then joyful movement. And then we're going to go through a wrap-up webinar to put it all together in some cool stuff. So I hope that was good. I couldn't see any questions coming up here, so I will check on Facebook later. I hope you found that all very useful, and go away and apply it all. And if you haven't got the checklist, if you're not getting, if you didn't get the email, then let me know. There's some people that might not be on the email list, but anyway, there'll be catch up and I'll have everything compiled by the end anyway. So it's all going to be there for you to watch. Okay, bye for now everyone. Be magnificently healthy and be well.